First meetings. I think there's a great similarity between first dates. And I want to ask for a willing volunteer. Celia, would you be my willing volunteer?
Is this a meeting or a date?
And I want you to imagine that we're on a first speed dating event. And I'm going to do two different scenarios. Now, I want you, one, to be honest. Two, I want you to have an opinion. Three, I want you to express that opinion. Of all the people to say that to. So, scenario one. We're on a speed dating. Celia, let me tell you about myself. I'm a speaker. I love going mountain biking. I love travel all over the world. I love tiddlywinks. In fact, I am the tiddlywinks champion of Surrey. And I consider myself to be a really good chef. And do you like food? Scenario two. You look gorgeous.
I know.
Tell me, what do you look for? What do you look for in a man?
Well, sense of humour, for sure. That would be my number one. And I think that the Christmas
Is that it?
said we couldn't talk about size. So I would say I love a man to be mature, Chris. I do love a mature man.
Shall I go now? And what do you do in your spare time?
Well, I perform in comedy and cabaret.
Are you good?
Yes.
I can imagine you being fantastic. I would now like you to express your opinion. Assuming you've got to go out with one of those, my two scenarios, would you prefer to go with the first or the second?
I think, Chris, I'm going to go tonight with the second.
The second?
Yes.
Fantastic, thank you. Now, stay there. Because I believe on a first date, one should always... And then matchmakers.
Oh, I love what you've done there. Thank you, darling. Thank you. You're a treasure. Very good. What happens if you take action?
You can go now. Thank you. Okay, so I want to talk about first meetings. How do we make sure we have a great first meeting with a client? Because if we don't have a great first meeting, you probably won't have a second. So, do your research. Take time to do your research. What are the things that we need to research? Investigate their company. Go onto their website, check them out. Look at them on LinkedIn. Find out as much as you can about them. Look at articles. What are they being mentioned in? The people that you're seeing, if I'm going to see Michael, I'm going to get his LinkedIn profile, but I'm also going to get the LinkedIn profiles of his other senior colleagues, just in case they happen to come into the meeting. I also want to check who they're connected with that I'm also connected with, because that could be some connections. Look into their market. Look at their publications. Look at their trade publications. See what the hot topics are. See what the big challenges are in their business. Look at their competitors. One of the things that if you talk about competitors to a company, if you talk about their competitors, that will catch their attention. Have an opinion, have some insights, so that you can make sure that that meeting goes off really well. Plan your opening. What's the opening? It's how are you first going to start the conversation? Really, really important. It's a key time to influence. Key time to influence their thinking. Because they are, how long does it take to make a first impression? Seconds. So you've got to do it really quickly, and you've got to make sure that it's the right impression. Have an agenda. Think about how am I going to start this? And with that, set the scene. So I might typically say, I specialize in X, Y, and Z, and I want to tell you about some of those things, but before I do, I want to hear about your business so that I can then focus in on the things that are most relevant to you. So I'm then going to ask you some specific questions so that I understand more about the challenges, exactly what it is that you're trying to do in your business. Plan your questions. Plan both your questions that you're going to ask them. And it's not about the quantity of questions, it's about the quality of your questions. And most importantly, anticipate, what are going to be the 3 toughest questions they can throw at you? Think about, what are those 3 toughest questions? And then think, how on earth am I going to respond to those? Because probably one of those is going to be about, how can you possibly justify that price? I can't believe how expensive you are. They're probably going to ask you, well, what's special about you? What experience have you got of our industry sector? So plan those. Because then if you do, you're going to have a happy second meeting with them. You also need to think about why you. What's special about you? And I think it's one of the biggest challenges that we as speakers, we as business people have, is in terms of identifying what is it that's special about us. My fear is that for most of us, it's going to sound like a so what rather than a wow. If you do this well, you can end up happily engaged to your client for many, many years. Thank you very much.